Fantastic. Cool. Anybody just joining, anybody who will be watching the recording. I think today a fun spot that maybe we overlook a little that comes up very frequently. A spot that sometimes I'm confused with on range as well is late position versus button flat. We all know at these lower stakes, these button ranges, people probably under three bet. So we'll have to take that into consideration. People probably not mixing three bet enough. So we're going to look at maybe this 40 big blind stack. We'll look down to 20 and really focus on the out of position C betting ranges. Um, we'll play the future streets as well, but really focusing on when we should be hitting our C bets, right? And then obviously how we follow through from there. But first thing I like to do, just a quick intro before we start calling on people and just guessing our way through it, going straight into the studies tool here, setting up the spot. Oh, I could have just went, no, 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 no. We'll just go to the study tool here, right? And then look at the strategy. Learning mode is,
Oh, one.
yeah, I can just do this, right? Why is it doing this? Wait a minute.
You want to go to the solve?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Hit the
Hit
little
the hat.
cap. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. Here we go.
You were just talking shit about how you're not new to GTO
Dude,
Wizard and blah, blah, blah,
but it was coming
blah.
up a different way. I still
You
don't know
think
why
I
this,
am, blah, blah,
bro. What
blah,
is this?
blah,
But why
blah.
is this here? The learning mode. Oh, because I have it in the settings.
So you
Never
can't
mind.
cheat.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. We're gonna look at all the boards though. I think that's important. And checking this out. Now, this is the spot I think myself and a lot of people, since we're unsure of our C betting range, we probably check a bit too much. And as you can see here, it's a 50-50 board, and you get some bigger bets, some 83, some 55 from out of position. You're not just autopiloting small. You do utilize some smaller betting as well, but overall, you're mixing as much big betting. So we gotta like kind of dig in for a second, look at the board types where it wants us to be C betting, and then just mix that into our games a little bit more in these spots. Because myself, I think I can get into a spot. You look at the EV between these decisions, and the EV of checking is going to be pretty close. But yeah, we should be certainly C betting a lot more. Let's filter out paired boards, right? Let's start with paired boards when we're out of position. Kind of take a quick look there and check this out, right? Paired 10 high boards, 9 high boards. They don't have a lot of offsuit 9x, 10x in their flatting range. Your opponents might, because your opponents like Jack 10 off in the $11 tournament, $5 tournaments. But we get a lot of C betting, 50-50. And we're utilizing some larger betting with 55 and 83 as well, right? Lower paired boards, probably not as much. Middling, yes. And then ace high, we are just utilizing mostly a small bet. We'll quickly go through a few of these and then we'll start the training and calling on you guys. So we have pair boards there. Let's look at monotone boards when you're out of position. What is this like, right? How much are we C betting here? Never really, 25% of the time. I'm imagining all these sections here, you could probably mix check with almost your entire range. Keyword almost. But yeah, you're gonna be checking a shitload on monotone, so that's easy when you get it. How about with flush draws and the big difference here, right?
There's a decent amount of C bet.
Yeah, there's a good amount of C-bet, 40%. And there's that deep purple. You know what that is, and nobody's doing it. Overbetting. Overbet C-bet Jack 10x. Sheesh. 10x boards, guys. You're going pretty hard on. 10x 9 high boards. These have been our highest frequency bet boards across all nodes thus far. If you're keeping track. and then we're just kind of like 50-50, whatever. Ace high boards, you're not going as crazy as you may think, right? You're checking like 60% of the time on these ace high boards, ace king X. A little bit more on ace jack X. Quickly, let's go to we looked at flush draw rainbow. So rainbow is going to be betting more than flush draw. Yep. 10 high rainbow boards, 9 high rainbow boards, 10 high paired boards. Go for it. The queen high board always feels very bad from out of position, but it likes betting with your range. Not all range, but it feels like a lot of hands in your range. So that's good. And one last one here. So we have that triple, not paired. What if it is kind of connected really quick? Because we looked at all these. Any big difference here? Low connected boards. Check or bipolar.
You just never hit them.
It's really hard. Look at this. It's just check.
And those overbets are all going to be like pocket tens on a 9 high board,
Yep.
pocket nines on an 8 high board.
Yeah.
Jack 10x still a overbet.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
10-8 is also going to be an overbet. You have like
9-7.
yeah, you have like a bunch of
Not so much
things
on
that offset like your 10x.
Yep.
It's going to be making a large bet.
Ace, king, queen, we're betting like 70%. And one last one here. Disconnected. Go much harder on disconnected boards. Low disconnected boards. 9-5 deuce. 9 deuce deuce. Pair board. Oh, these are all pair. Not all paired. Are they? Disconnected. Oh, yeah, for the low cards to be disconnected, it's gonna be like fucking paired. Oh
Yeah.
shit. Yep. Here's the 10 paired boards. All right. Cool. Before we move on to kind of drilling this spot, does anyone, well, maybe we look at a different position really quick as well. I want to see that. So we go off to the cutoff. Let's look at this now.
Problem with the cutoff is that you're C betting a lot less.
Yeah. Cutoff versus
The
button,
earlier
right? I think
position,
this
the
is
more
really good.
condensed and strong your range is, the more you're C betting, right? But here,
Right. All right, here
still
we go.
checking.
As a whole,
Yeah, it's on the sea of green.
look at that. Big difference. So we just looked at our low jack range, right? Cutoff opening range so much wider. We have so much more trash. Their calling range is probably tighter than our opening range, right? So this is going to lead to this, like a shit load of checking.
Unless there's a 9. Right?
Yep, they don't have any offsuit nines.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at all the 9-9 export, and you're gonna see a sea of purple.
Yep, and you go hard. A lot of 55% here as well, but overall, guys, 25, only, I mean, betting like 25%, 24% of the time. Ace high boards where people, this is where you should know. This is important, guys, because your opponents don't do this. So you can, your opponents are making a ton of mistakes from out of position here in the cutoff,
Your
in the
opponents
mid
are
and low stakes.
doing the opposite, right? They're C
Correct.
betting
They're
80%,
C betting way more. You go play live poker here.
C betting
A guy,
100%.
yeah. I mean, the C betting in live poker here. So you should be able to exploit this. Know their range is too wide. Float appropriately, meet MDF, and then wreck them on future streets when they cap their range. When you need to bluff and get value when appropriate, you know.
Interesting too, because even at the highest levels, Sixes and I have been I've been watching a lot of Triton stuff. And even at the highest levels, deep stacked multi-way, these guys are C betting out of position,
Just
just a
putting a lot of money in the pot.
crazy amount.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, we don't need to really look. I mean, you can kind of just look here. We don't need to filter them all. And then the other quick spot we'll look at the hijack range a bit tighter than the cutoff range. So let's see if that changes anything. Or I mean, it will change, but so we get to see that a lot more. Cut off, hijack, low jack, right? These two spots we get to bet more than as we go in earlier position relative to when we're closer to the button cutoff, right?
Yeah, it's even more when you get to under the gun.
Yes. I mean, from under the gun here, yeah, you get to still see that. I would say about 50-60% of the time. But yeah, let's get into kind of drilling this so we give everybody an opportunity to exercise their mind and you guys aren't just listening to me and we can think through this together and put the pieces together, find the heuristics. So I think that'll be fun. We were working on this one. And let me see all the legends that we have in the group today. Oh, what's up, Molten? Good to see you. Greg, good to see you as well, buddy. As a matter of fact, Greg, let's kick it off.
Sure. Uh, probably checking this.
Checking this. So low connected board. C betting range for just the overpair region. Do you use any of your overpairs, any of them at all as a C bet here?
Sure. Yeah, I probably like my tens, my eights, my nines, jacks, kings, queens. Yeah, sure. So pretty much all over pairs, I would bet here.
Okay.
They don't really have a lot of like the lower connected stuff. I don't think button has much 7-5 in range, but
Right.
you know,
So
it's
you
like
start to be able to target the worst under pairs in his range, his floats, his ace five, his single pairs that he has here, and getting multiple streets of value.
mhm.
Okay.
What about sets?
Yeah, he also
Yeah.
has like yeah, sure, there's sets.
No, I mean,
I
what about
don't
you C betting your sets?
Oh, sure. I mean, well, actually, I don't know. Maybe on this board, I would probably check raise. So check and yeah, I would probably check raise the majority of my sets. I don't think I'm normally c betting out of position with those. I'd rather try to fast play them,
It's
get more
interesting.
money
I
in the
think
pot.
I think the sets were we were looking at this a little bit, too. Weren't just set C betting some?
When I was looking at it, it was particularly two-tone boards that are betting for value and protection. So I'm not
Yeah,
sure if they bet on the rainbow boards. I studied this spot up really heavy earlier in the week, but it was particularly on two-tone boards.
right.
Yeah, I think on
That
two-tone
changes a little
boards you
bit.
have more incentivization to check raise. So actually,
Yes.
maybe c betting here with your sets are is better because you don't need as much protection, right? But once the turn hits and say you get a two-tone board there, then I think you have more incentivization to do it. So yeah,
I think so.
Here
I'm
you go, over betting as well. I mean,
yeah.
you know, when we do look at it, you're not, if you want to use the bigger bet size, it's
Hmm.
not, you know how it is,
What's
Greg.
really hard to
That's
find is
fine.
the go back to strategy is the
Oh, here
Yeah.
we go.
middling like Jack nine, Queen 10, Queen Jack stuff like
So
Well, it
yeah,
remembers because it matches the
that.
characteristics of these
Oh yeah, the
overpair that
pairs.
you have. So if you have
Gives you the
nine
best.
10, you're going to be overbetting your nines and your 10. So you want to use 9 10, right? Jack 10, the same thing. Jack 9. Yeah, this is a heuristic that always has a
yeah.
play. We see
It
this.
doesn't like doing it with your offsuit branch though.
Nope. 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 Nope.
Uh yeah,
No, you
it's
need to have a way
pretty
to pick up equity on the turn.
And you
exactly.
need the backdoor flush draws. You
Yeah,
cannot do it without the backdoor flush
yeah,
draws.
you need a BDFD. Otherwise, you're
All of
just
it.
checking.
And I mean, it's interesting for 9 10 here because 9 10 doesn't mind as much because it's like one of the worst ones you have. I imagine 8 9. Oh, still it's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't really
It's
hate it.
no.
Yeah, but I'm
I'm
like checking here mostly
Yep.
because we're just offsuit and don't have anything.
All right, he's checked back. Now what?
Um, man.
Phil.
Uh, so in game, I'm probably going actually polar here.
One
Um,
Twinkie.
nah, not one Twinkie, but like 80, but like 83 probably.
83. He's doing it. He can't win by checking. Would make some checks with some of the overpair. He's probably a little capped in a way. Doesn't have any
Mhm,
9x, so he's going to use it. No
mhm.
one Twinkie though. Little
It's
one,
really
more
interesting because we
120. I
saw
tried
look
to
at
give you.
200 is the way to go.
Yeah, 200 is well,
Um,
hold on, it's a
what's
roll and the EV's like marginally the same.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this is that it's that nine, right? We saw a lot of betting on the nine, and this is a card that completes I'm sorry, that connects to a lot but doesn't complete a lot. So
Mhm.
it brings in the flush draw, it brings in straight draws and stuff, and it's a card that they don't really have in our range that we still do.
Yep. Yeah, we still check a lot of our strongest hands. We have a spade. Like, yeah, I mean, it's 120 all day. We study this. Like 120. I have a 150 button for these kind of spots. Like,
I
but I
I
almost
I
wonder
wouldn't
if we don't have a spade, do I do it? This is what I'm always confused about in a game. Do I need a spade?
Yeah, I don't give
Like,
shit on
you
value,
need
so you just
no, you need a spade
do
though.
you?
y-
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
You got to
need
block
this
the
you need
draw.
backdoor. You need to block the backdoor flush draws.
I mean,
yeah.
even the non, like that one's
You
still
still go
40,
crazy
30,
if you want.
40%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why it's going crazy though is because like you have gutters. You have gutters that are now in range for villain, right? So you wanna overcharge. I didn't even think about it like that there could be a gutter here.
Well, yeah, you're also going to be pounding it with the value
Oh,
portion of your
yeah.
range when you do check it. You have the 9x, these overpair. So I mean, yeah, this is an appropriate bluff because you're going to be at some frequency checking back queens and jacks.
hmm
So you would then want to just put that much more money in a pot and jam river.
Normally, when you're
Uh,
checking flop like this and it goes check check, you have a lot of more polar bets when things are outside of the range of what villain has. So yeah.
Well, now what? It's awkward as shit.
Oh God. Um, what do we get to fold by bluffing? Probably some ace highs, possibly king highs. I
One
think they
second.
would. Uh, I'm trying to think. We don't. The problem with us having a queen is that we get and the jack in our hand is that we get we're blocking our folds. We like if we have an ace here, like and we rip this, like I'm like completely appropriately thinking it's okay to bluff this spot. But we have a queen or jack in our hand. I don't like we're getting all the cards that essentially want to fold. We might get better to fold though if we do go for a polarizing size here. I don't know how many flushes we really have either.
So you're going to polarize and do it? You going
I
for it?
mean, I think I would just give up in game for
I
sure.
think
100%. I'm not letting you down. I'm
Yeah, I'm
not even
not.
letting you change your mind
you
because,
got to be
Yeah,
like,
careful because
brother,
all the flushes and straights just that's connected
this
and
is
completed.
this
yeah. That
card is so fucking bad for you. Like, you
It's
can't
it's
do
really
anything.
yeah, it's really bad, and it's really bad that we have a queen and a jack in our hand. Like if we had an ace, like I can kind of see it, but like we would need at least a pair, some kind of connected equity.
I thought we might
Our
bet because
turn
we have
bet
no showdown
size,
value, but definitely not
no.
jamming. You definitely don't
Yeah,
jam.
I mean, no jams.
yeah, I don't think we have anything that jams here.
Whew.
Nope.
Rat. That always feels really bad.
Oh, we got ratted. That's gross. It's gross.
Sweetness. Give me a three piece. So number two here. Great.
Um. Oh man. Okay, I'll probably just check this. We're like bottom of range.
Okay.
Um, I'm not really like a fan of trying to bet this off here.
What
He has a lot of
percentage of your range are you betting here? Just, I
prob
mean, do you think you get to bet on a queen 10x board? Just a guess. And it's
I
good
think
to think about
I
this mentally.
think we probably have like I don't know, 15% maybe.
15% on a queen high board.
Maybe
Let me
less,
see.
maybe like
We'll do
10%.
for check
What do you
frequency.
think? What do you think, B Money? What percentage? Just give me a number that you think you get to see bet here out of position on Queen 10X.
Uh,
Okay.
Honestly, yeah, I was somewhere in 20, 15, 20.
15 to 20 again.
40%.
Thank you, Toe. I'm in that region. I'm in like the 40 to yeah, 47% or something, I'm guessing. But
40 to
maybe
47. That's so specific.
I know. I wanted to say an exact number to sound cool, but I don't know. I mean, I think we get to bet here more than 15, but maybe I'm dead wrong. Like
This might be wrong. It depends on how often he flats tens here. Because if he three bets tens a lot, like if he's almost pure three
versus
betting.
the solver, and this is solver versus human. Versus
Yeah,
the
so I
human, I
don't know,
think
like,
the
so
human is check. I'm checking
we
back versus the
do, we
human
might,
more.
this might be higher because we might have the two set rule where it's like we have pocket queens and pocket tens, and he never has pocket
60%.
queens and pocket tens.
This
So
is no, yeah. This is what I'm saying though. I think you guys
Checking
like
40%.
this is why we do today's lesson because I think there's a big leak here with myself and a lot of people included where we don't see bet enough from hijack and low jack. Checking a lot versus in the cutoff versus button is great, but I personally don't think I'm c-betting this board enough. And like looking at this, 60 fucking percent of the time you're betting, and you got 15%.
You still have queens, tens, ace
Dude,
queen.
you gotta like if we're that far off and in our range, this is a spot where we no longer have anything else to work on but this. Like you gotta
can
spend
you
all the time
can
on
you
this.
see his range, the button's calling range, and see how often he three bets is supposed to
Look
three
at
bet
it.
But
tens?
Like
I
all your
mean, I understand why I understand versus humans and whatnot, but we got to understand the theory before we start making up our own.
Mm.
No, that's what it is. If we have top two sets and he never has top two sets, we get to see bet a lot. So he never
Yeah.
has pocket queen. He never has a set of queens here. And if he very rarely has a set of tens, then that's the reason we see bet a lot because we have a hardcore nut advantage.
I'm pretty sure that they're never supposed to be flatting tens unless we're
Yeah, so
like
that might
unless we're like 100 big blinds deep.
right.
Like
Yeah,
But
so
we're
that
once again, I understand what you're trying to say, and there's definitely some merit to it, like
I mean,
versus a definite pop. But at the same time, like we're just making excuses because we just need to know, understand our ranges. Like in game, if you want to fluctuate and only use 15%, yes, but we need to understand like conceptually in these spots why how much
look
we
how
can
much your
see bet.
queens and your tens are all betting, every one of them.
yeah. So
Like,
okay, I kind of misspoke, I guess. Like I didn't really conceptualize of what 15% of our range would look like. But no, I'm looking at this like the chart here, and like for a majority of the bets that we do have, I probably would take a lot if you go like back to like all of our queens and our tens, I'm probably betting. I'm probably betting a lot of our king, like king jack and stuff like that as well, because we have like we have you know,
you know
equity.
what? As well, Greg, like not meaning to cut you off, but it's cool here, and it's comforting to know, like, and if you are only betting fair 15% of the time, guess what? Every single hand in this range is okay checking as well from an EV standpoint, so you're not really making a gigantic EV error.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you should be okay knowing, like, I take this strategy, and sometimes when I'm playing six tables and fucking around on stream, I'm not thinking really about how much I'm c-betting, and I autopilot check in a spot where I can mix c-bet way too much. But from an EV standpoint, it's not that big of a mistake, but understanding how betting is going to affect future game for us and why it's going to be better and why it likes to do it is what we're here, where we're aiming to do.
Yeah, I guess what I was trying to say is that like
Yeah.
mostly my bets, like I didn't realize what 15% of the range would look like comparatively to this graph of being 40%. All of these things in the 40% range outside of like the lower pocket pairs are probably some stuff that I'm continuing to bet with was what I was trying to get at
Fair.
here.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those lower
Even
pairs are
here.
nasty too, because you bet, and then if there's a Broadway card on the turn, you bet you're gonna triple off.
Yeah,
Right?
you're gonna
Those things are
triple. Yeah, you're
nasty.
gonna triple it
You're
off. You're
setting
gonna
up the
lose your.
triple like
You're
this.
gonna lose your. You're gonna lose your stack.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
oh man.
Here we go again.
Um.
Are we being polar or are we just giving up?
Oh, I'm giving up here. We have no redraws. We have no equity. We have no nothing. Just like mutter the words bet, and I'm already in the muck.
All right. Anyone bluffing this turn with 6-7? You can type it in chat. Matt, I'm bluffing. What size, Matt?
At
Bet
his finest.
55. There he is. The Mountie in the house.
Bro,
Bluffing his stack off. I
That card
was
I
is
just
so much
setting
better for
up the
them.
bait.
I always wonder like where the crazy Canadians come from that
Oh,
do
there
this
they
stuff
are.
with their nothing, and I found them.
The spirit of Sedhabs in
Between
here.
Sethabs and Matt, I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah, here it is. Don't let cheat to win fool you. He's a spazzy one. No, he's holding it down for the Nitty Nation.
Yeah, I'm a net. Proud net.
Oh yeah, cheat.
We come from all parts of Canada. Yeah,
But
just skip up. We're just done.
yeah, we're done here.
Dunzo.
And the last part of the three piece. Oh, this
These spots are just the best, right?
yeah. This is a B33.
Oh, and he's doing it on like connected 9 high as well. But he's gonna go B33. He has the ace of spades. Wonder if it does, and if you are betting this board with portions of your range, do you want to ever incorporate a B55? And
if I
if
had
I
a
mean, do
if
you
I
think
had
the
a
EV would be so different?
if I had
Like,
a
I don't know.
10, if I had like ace 10 here, I'd be 55 probably.
All of the above. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to go too far down the abyss of what we want to do at our range here. Personally, yeah, it's mixing
The 8 and the
a
5
little bit more
was a problem, right?
B55.
We got to be cautious of the other cards
Low
because
card
we don't have
connected.
8 and 5s in our
That is very true. That's true.
Be honest with you, in game, this I would never bet this.
100% check.
I would 100% check this in game. I would actually never see bet this. So let me see.
Although ace 10 is an interesting one. That one.
Yeah,
Ace 10 with the spade.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
50,
It's like
And
I
it's
would
mostly
probably be.
B55.
Oh
Ace
man,
10
I'm
with the
a
spade.
human solver. Look at that. I literally said I would be 55 with ace 10.
50 ace jack is so okay. These are good. These are good to see. Obviously, your ace 9.
And interesting, like the 7x
Yeah.
hands. We see king 7. Makes a lot of sense.
Why doesn't it show me my EV when I do it like that? That's not a big deal. But once again, every hand that is betting, for the most part, outside of like eight, even ace 9, mixing check, right? So if you are checking in these spots, it's not a mistake either.
You think it's a problem if you're pure checking your 9x hands? Even though we can mix
No,
if we're not actually mixing.
it depends on if you're playing against, like on Iggy, no, right?
Okay.
I mean, I guess you allow some if players are never going to bet in the back seat, or if you know you can just push equity now and they get to just realize equity and you never have the opportunity to check raise, it's probably a problem, right?
Mm.
You never get to check raise. They only check in the back seat and realize equity for hands that they're only going to put in money when they improve.
No good turn cards.
Yeah, so yeah, you probably do want to bet a little bit more, right? Cool. Next street, we done it. Bang. Now what?
Equity completes here. I'm not really a fan of betting. Probably just check. There's not.
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, I don't think there's really a reason to bet here. I mean, guy is 6'7", torched.
Let's see how it could be a problem on sites like Iggy. Yeah, right. Exactly, Molten. You don't get the big enough sample size. So I'm not going to get punished for checking too much out of position if that's my default, right? Because I play Iggy all day, every day. So
I'm with you, Matt. We have a lot of worse showdown.
So we're checking, this hand has showdown value. Are we betting for value or are we betting as a bluff? You ask yourself that question. If you can't answer it, check.
I also don't really want to turn good ace high into a bluff.
Yeah, is this a good hand to turn into a bluff? What are we trying to make fold? Pairs? Not happening.
Not
right?
happening. You're never getting a pair.
Super good draws, combo draws, jack 10, not folding. Here it comes.
We're too close to the top of our range here to want to bet that spot, you know?
I think some people consider the top of their range only being sets, pairs, and stuff like that. But this is one of the best ace high showdown hands.
Yeah, exactly.
So people, you have to take that into consideration. Good point. Now what?
I mean, like the king is really, really good for us, but like we have showdown. I'm pretty sure that we just win this a lot here.
Michael says, blast this river and merge it to make the worst pairs fold.
Yeah, I don't think we.
I know. Look at I feel you, Mike.
Check raise is interesting with the ace of spades.
I do like check raise. That actually, I would probably randomize for that line, to be honest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you're checking Michael out here and blasting it, trying to fold out worse under pair, represent this king, blocking the top portion of the range. And the rest of you guys, some check raising, some check calling. We're starting with the check. Michael, it ain't that bad, brother.
Yeah, B85 is not bad here at
It's
all.
not that bad at all. I mean, yeah, it's not high frequency, but shit, I can kind of see it a little bit, you know.
What do we get to
I can
fold?
visualize that.
Can you like after this like
Yep.
take that line and see what we get to fold? I'm really curious.
Sure.
Like
I mean, there's
when
a lot of hands that don't meet MDF. Like he could show up here with the call, just a single C bet. We might make his sixes, his sevens indifferent that didn't just raise turn. We had just show down his ace five, right? If he has that, we just fold out some of his weaker middling and bottom pairs, I would imagine,
okay.
from the best portion of that range, right? We also beat the rest of the ace highs and stuff, but we probably fold out some under pair, make some what 8x would he have, but he has this fly. And a real human would have Jack 8, 10
Jack
8.
8, 10 8.
Yep.
Assuming homie doesn't bet in the back seat, can you see if the check raise is a thing? I don't know if we do it with this good of an ace, but maybe the shittier aces.
Yeah, like ace 3, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Twos.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
yeah, bet 85, twos are in hell.
Yeah.
Michael wins.
Oh yeah, twos are crying.
Crying, you know. So we go to study this spot. We go back to the
So
river.
buttons got a bet. I don't know. What's
No, we go
common?
back.
Bet 60.
Oh, yeah, we got to have him bet his common size,
Bet
which is
60.
let's have him bet 59, right?
Yeah.
If we have
No.
there it is.
Oh, it's in there.
Savages.
Nice.
There it is. Just
Yeah.
get filthy, buck naked nasty. This is tough. Yeah, it'd be tough. I mean, you can call as well,
Blockers are a
but
myth.
yeah, between
Blockers are
calling
a
and
myth.
jamming.
Interesting, not spade heart.
You're not using the queen of spade as much, but yeah, not spade hard.
Because you
Yeah,
block
it
the
does.
backdoor hearts.
Yeah, it doesn't want you to have the backdoor heart. It would
Yep.
probably prefer the diamond for yeah, it does. Right? Yeah.
Yep, diamond and club. Nastiness.
Mm.
Cool. And you are actually outside of your ace queen is like one of the only hands you check. I mean, not only hands, but you are betting a shitload after it goes check, check, king, river.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're
Yeah,
betting a ton.
I'm betting all my small, like yeah, all my
Yep.
like all my low queen X, my my
Queen
even
jack, queen
yeah,
tens.
No
Like,
showdown.
don't get shook, guys. It's
yeah,
interesting because you're betting your 9x, which you feel like you would just, but it's betting it as a block, right? So you don't have to be faced with the high variance
It's
check
just
call
small and
bluff catch
frequent,
switch,
right?
well, I think these bets are important because you might just see why are we betting our 9x. This creates a few different things, and I think being able to find these bets with second pair on the river when the high card comes is because you trying to call his value range is going to be very high variance and hard, and the people aren't going to bluff you off this spot when you bet enough. But you don't want to check and face these high variants. You don't know what size he's going to bet. And it's just going to be really hard on you.
it's
Sometimes you're
very
going to be right. Sometimes you're going to be wrong. But that's high variance that you're creating for yourself. Whereas you could just bet and then you can get caught by worse or they
exactly.
fold. So be careful here. Be very aware when you have second pair get into these rivers with wanting to auto check those to get the showdown because you're going to get put in hell a lot. When
Especially
they
when
do
the
bet,
sorry, sixes.
oh no, it's okay. When they do bet, you just are going to be in a situation where you don't know if they're betting for value or a bluff, and you're going to be right and wrong. Sometimes it's just high variance. That's all.
Yeah, especially when the turn goes check check. There's a lot of blocking, especially out of position. Like you have a lot of blocks
Oh,
here with like your third pair.
interesting. I thought we checked this all the way down, but Matt's right. It looks like we bet flop.
We did
No,
bet flop, but
we
Yeah,
bet
I thought we
flop.
checked
Yeah,
this all the way down.
nah.
yeah.
My
Look how
bad.
hard
My
this
bad, Matt.
is when they go
So Matt
148
has a
with
question of how
harmony.
much King X they're folding on the flop bet.
Oh God,
Just go to button right there.
Oh
One
my
over.
right here.
Right there.
Oh, right
Yeah.
here.
like
A little bit.
I mean,
None of the
some.
stuff but there's a lot of their King X that has like gutters and shit. King 7 suited, King 6 suited,
yeah,
Nothing with a spade.
and a pair.
Nothing with a
King
spade.
9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9. 9
Cool. Let's give someone else an opportunity. Greg, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Fantastic work. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Let's see. I like how aggro Michael was thinking. Michael, you want to get in here, take the mic, and give us three hands, sir?
Yeah.
All right,
Let's
my
do it.
man.
Oh,
Let's do
that's
it.
true too, Mike Washington.
Flop and flush draw, queen high, too low.
I'm gonna kill this one. I
Yeah.
studied this for 2 hours on Tuesday. B Money,
uh,
B Money's gonna kill this one.
I
Studied this 2 hours on Tuesday.
I guess we just B33 here.
all right, use the B33. Um, what are you doing with your Jack 10 of hearts? Are you betting that as well? Are you going to mostly check that? Obviously, it probably
Um,
mixes, but would you use that if
yeah,
you're
I don't
sitting
know.
here?
Maybe I would check that and then look to start bluffing it on the turn, maybe.
Ace 10 of hearts, ace jack of hearts. You betting those ever?
Uh, no, I think the ace 10 has too much equity.
Okay. That's these
But
tricky
maybe
hands.
not. I don't know.
Yeah, there's an interesting,
Yeah,
tricky
I feel like
set of
like
hands.
a lot of our stuff is gonna be mixing a lot, right?
Oh, fuck
It
yeah.
feels
Your
It's
whole
like
fine.
it.
range
It feels
mixes,
like
yeah.
everything is just mixing.
And I think
And
that's
those
why,
aces are gonna be like 15 to 20% bet.
and I want us to be better. Like for me, my instinct when we're mixing is to maybe check too much. Some people are like, it mixes. I'm use it betting. I'm a checking. Like they're just gonna bet everything. They're just gonna be
Question, because
Yeah, I
you
think
aggressive,
C
right?
bet a lot, sixes, do you think that's why your mix is leans check because you C bet so much? So
And no, that's in position. I'm not gonna see bet out of position too much. It
okay.
but I
feels
think we're
familiar.
early enough that it's like it's gonna be a higher frequency
This
bet.
feel like
Yep,
50-50.
50-50 spot. So you are gonna use 33 here, you said?
Yeah.
For the range, this is the 60-40, mixing 40% with various sizing. So you didn't make a mistake. Like this is fine.
Yeah.
Mostly
But it
checking
looks
though.
like maybe a little bit better to bet smaller.
But check it out. That's a lot of checks, sir.
Yeah.
Queen low low connected. We just don't connect with this low portion enough. We're representing a few top pairs that we both share because they flat ace queens, right? They have full range of king queen, especially opponents, queen jack, queen tens. Yeah, so this is a very tricky one. A lot of suited hands in their region calling as well. Gut shots with ace two,
Yeah,
ace
it just feels
five.
like we're kind of high in our range here, right? Like we don't have a lot of
Like, it's fine. I mean, you have two
junk.
unders and a flush draw.
Yeah.
Like I was asking about these ace tens and shit like that with the hearts. Like, no, check. Ace jack, no, check.
Yeah.
This is fine though. We shouldn't get discouraged because we didn't pick the best option. We should understand that the EV is close. And if we feel like our opponent is pretty passive and folds too much to C-bets, it's cool. Or he's going to play poorly on future streets, it's cool, right? So you've C-bet, they've called kind of a brick. 5-6 gets
It's
there. How do you feel about this? Are
but
you betting?
we like the when we were looking at the aggregates,
Hmm.
like it seemed like we liked betting the smaller cards because they just don't have a ton of them. But like the heart kind of makes me think this is like we probably just check here like a lot, or
So
I
when
do
he
at least.
when you check and they go 80%, you just go to check call mode.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I
You,
feel
I
like
mean, are you gonna check
it,
fold ever? That's an honest question, And if we are folding, we should learn if that's good or bad, right? This is the
yeah.
opportunity, friend. So if
I
you're
don't,
if we check and
I
he
think
goes
in game
80%, do you fold?
I think in game I'm probably check folding too much, but
Okay, that's
against solver, yeah, maybe we call check call. I
I
don't
guess
know.
I guess
Yeah.
the thing is we shouldn't be distinguishing when we have this much equity on this in a situation when we check and they bet something if it's who it is, right? It's the price. It
Yeah.
should we ever be check folding a flush draw. And what should we be doing here with our turn flush draws? This is a very good spot to kind of learn about what we do in these kind of spots because you seem pretty indifferent and it's really good to learn.
Yeah.
Molten,
Or
what are you
maybe it's
doing
better
here?
to maybe it's better to bet big because
So,
he has backdoor hearts some portion of the time.
like I said, 6-5 is in range, so it's a bit iffy, but I think this is just a really good hand to bluff. We just fold out so quite a bit,
Hmm.
and since it's a double flush draw board, I think we just offload most of the bet here, or
Is this
125.
enough
That makes
equity
sense.
just to 125 it? Initially, Michael, you said check,
I
correct?
said check, yeah.
Some 125. Mostly bet B55. We set our own price. We still don't cap our range. We
Yeah.
don't go so polar that we condense his range to only the best. And we could probably still get the follow through on some rivers that are good for not only our hand, but for our range. I imagine an ace or a king, we may be able to continue bluffing it off. Um, Spades are good for us. So yeah, that's how I would imagine this spot.
So six is you're betting here?
I mean, I think it's really good to just go 55.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying I'm good enough to do this every time in game. I do think a good portion of the time, if I am C betting, see, but the thing is, I'm checking mostly
On the flop. Yeah.
on the flop. Mostly, I know myself. I feel like I could play a check call line even better than I can a bet line.
Yeah, and I
But
think
if I do
I've
bet, I think I'm going to follow through from my size because you know what happens here, bud? When you check, it becomes that game where you're already talking about folding a flush draw on the turn.
yeah.
I don't want to do that. And
No.
I think, and I double barrel for my size, I'm never going to get raised as a bluff because I have an uncapped range.
Hmm.
And I think when you see bet here, people don't just fold pocket fives, pocket eights, and shit like that, right? So when you double barrel, you get more, you have some fold equity, and
Yeah.
you've effectively set your own price to get there, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And like it is kind of nice to check the flop and then be able to start betting the turn and then you can just commit to your betting two streets being the turn and river and you're gonna
Yeah,
get value out of
you
your
have
good
a lot of
hands and yeah,
options
yeah,
there
yeah.
as well,
Yeah,
right?
I like
You
that.
have a lot of options with your range with checking a board like this as well.
Yeah, I like that.
And I am going to go back to the study and see what your ass does when we check and he somehow goes massive. What you do with your flush draws? Because I think that's a good question. Well, we bricked it and went check check. There's a 4 line. You have jack high, sir. Are you
Like
winning this pot?
we have to bet it, right? Like
That's what he
we
said.
like
Uh,
we're not beating anything. He can fall. I don't know. I feel like maybe this is terrible. I'm torching money here, but like I feel like we have to bet.
all right, what size? How
Uh,
much money are we losing?
I I mean I guess we go 85. I don't know.
That
It
seems
could be
about seems fair.
59, but I don't know. Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
what
to
are
bet
these
big
two
enough to fold stuff.
size just to fold out like ace 10,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, so
fold like
maybe
ace
bet 59. Bet 59. Yeah,
just wants to fold out
is good.
like ace
Yeah.
10 or something like that
Yeah.
because you can't win by checking.
No.
I see some give ups. I see some shoves, which feel spazzy as hell out of
Yeah,
I
Holy.
think
position.
shove when
I
things
think we
connect
would
and
bet
complete.
small with our value here, so we would bet small with our bluffs too.
So you would
Yeah. And we
go
don't have to
one or
bet big
four.
to fold
I
out the
go, I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, if we are betting at all, I would bet four because I think you're
That's
just
fair.
trying your net because we don't have a lot of. He has more 5x than we do in the button,
I don't
or
have any sixes.
sorry, he has more 6x.
Yeah.
So we can't go polar. So it might just be give up. But if we bet four, like he's
Just fold
not
out some ace
pulling.
highs, right?
He has
A
ace
king
four. He has
10,
ace
king
five. He's not
10,
pulling. He has random ace high. Right. He's got.
king 10 of hearts. Maybe doesn't bet. King 10 of hearts might have to stab turn. Um, but he's gonna do. He said 10 first. And
Yeah, just give up.
Just all
yeah,
that.
it's a nightmare.
Be
But to
different
be
if that five
fair,
was something like an eight, something like disconnected, then you might bluff more.
You know what, man?
A
It's not the
nine, you
end of the
definitely book
world.
more.
You just block the flush draws. None of the flush draws. Nothing with the spade really wants to turn it. Queen Jack, you don't have a spade, of course. Jack 10 when you have spades, nopers. 9-7 when you have spades, right?
I feel like
Oh, 9-7 is a
that's
pair for
that's
sure.
interesting because we block or we unblock like the higher flush draws. So maybe that's why the small bet
When you say
is
the
better
higher
than the
flush
big bet.
draws, I mean having a Jack of spades locks up a lot of flush draws, man.
Yeah,
Jack and a
King
queen.
Jack,
but
Ace Jack, Queen. I mean, having a Jack of spades is pretty bad, I guess,
yeah.
right? You know. Yeah, you're just never. I mean, Ace High has showdown, so. Cool. Let's keep it moving because I probably have 20, 15, 20 minutes before I have to get out of here. Dead. And this is literally real life right here. We'll play it. Oh no, I want to quickly look at this turn spot because this is very important.
King 10 odds betting turn.
So we've c-bet the flop, right? He's called. We've checked the turn with our flush draws. He does get to go 83. Are we ever folding a flush draw?
No.
Gone.
No.
Gone. All the flush draws without the over. What a hellacious spot you put yourself in by checking. That is why. Is it ever checking? A little bit. Interesting that you just would check, give up a flush draw in a spot where you see bet and kept their range pretty wide, and then just check, give up with these lower ones. It feels horrendous.
The problem is when we see bet, we didn't keep their range wide, right? We did condense on Queen 4-3 a decent amount. They're not just going to rando float bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, they still
Right?
have too many Queen X and
They
shit.
have
But
some sort of value, some sort of showdown, some sort of
you
action.
see how much easier it is to check the flop now? Like, this is rough to have to
What was
fold.
the
What the
how
fuck?
often were we checking flat here? A ton?
This is us. Oh,
It
how
was
often are we checking flop?
60%, I
70.
think.
No, it was 70.
Oh, 70% this hand, 60% range.
Yes, 70% range. Checking. 70% of your range. So you decided to c-bet this one, which is okay. They called. We get to the turn. I don't know. Now I want to check. The EV's kind of cool. So we check. They use their big size. They don't have too many small. They have some 55, but they go 83 this time. You just are gonzo
And
with
they
the
cause
flush.
you to make a mistake by floating the flush draw. I think most people do.
Yep. How about if they go 55? Are you more indifferent? Is it still gone? Indifferent as hell. Not printing much. Damn. Yeah, so if they go half pot, you get to call. They go bigger than half pot, you don't, Michael. So awkward, right? They can force you to make a mistake with equity by that's why I say these spots are just so high variance when you decide to do certain things out of position. When you check with equity and then they do something, you can fold, you might have to fold the best hand. That's why it prefers to bet on turn and follow through a little. Right?
Yeah.
Mostly betting. Mostly betting so you don't get put in that spot. So yeah, understanding the implications of why we do what we do, and hence the reason why I think sometimes checking out a position can also be good. But if you do bet and you have equity, you mostly want to just kind of follow through with these flush draws. Bet. Next hand. Top pair, Michael. What are we doing with this top pair? What are you doing?
It's king high, so I think we do
Mhm.
get to bet a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we just go 33 again.
Beautiful. When you say a lot and you visualize your opening range, what percentage would you give that a lot?
Um, Maybe like 70, 75.
70, 75%.
And then like that's gonna be like pretty much 100% for like most of our kings, I think. And
70,
probably
75% C bet and 100% with Most of the kings. Okay. Jason in the house. What's up, Jason?
Hey, how you doing, man?
What, I'm good, buddy. How about yourself?
Good.
What percentage of your range you think you see bet here from the low jack out of position versus button fly? You could just give me, it's good to guess, like visualizing what you open here. Are you the kind of person that see bets a lot here, or you're more of checking and getting two streets?
Well, if we're being honest here,
Yeah.
when I get a caller when I'm out of position, I've tended to check more for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This particular hand, since I do have king, I'd probably bet it.
And what
And
size?
um, well, I usually lean towards smaller sizes, but through drilling, I've noticed when you start getting this is like what middle position. Earlier
Mm-hmm.
position, I noticed you bet a little larger. No, I'd probably still do 33 here.
Okay. And Michael, you were also going 33 as well, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some 33s and people kind of preferring knowing that you do get to bet. We have a lot of eight. They just don't nobody flats ace king on the button here too often.
No.
And we have top pair and we can start targeting like some jack X, some gut shots as well. So wanting to bet this. Anyone object? Anybody just mostly checking. This hand can mix, of course. Mix all across the world. And this is why you could trick yourself. It's so
Wow.
easy to just look here and say, it's a reasonable spot to check. You got an aggressive player here who thinks when you check, you're capped. This is a great hand to mix in versus aggressive opponents. Double barrel, yay or nay?
Yeah, I think so. I think we go. Um, yeah. I don't know. It makes me think I messed up on the last streak because I kind of want to check call here, but I feel like we can't check this seven of spades. So I would probably just go 55 here.
55, are you going to mix check a bit more with the spade? Say you
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
10
I
of
think e
spades.
either of the spades like
We
we
can't have
can't
the
have the
king, but
king.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely then. Yeah.
So mixing more check with the tennis spade, and that's fair, and that's astute. And I like that we're observing backdoor flush draws and then trying to realize, like, hey, do you think your hand is a 2 or 3 street hand? Do you get 2 or 3 street value from your hand?
I think usually two.
Do you ever balance checking back top pairs on turn?
Yeah, definitely.
This seems like a reasonable candidate to mix. If we can't get 3 streets, it is a little
Yeah.
bit nerve-wracking to have the spade, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
I do think these are instances where we're blocking some gut shots because he would float ace queen that he has in his flatting range. And he might be inclined to turn some hands into bluffs, his 9-10s, his queen tens, his queen nines. So I do like mixing to have a nice little bluff catcher and then also this. But I could see betting as well. It's probably good. So we're betting 55. Yep. Beautiful. Can mix check as well
Yeah.
versus especially aggressive opponents. But bet 55, very well done. It makes sense. I want to see if we are taking the king 10 off with the spade as a check a bit more. Bet it all, Sam. Just bet the
Wow.
shit. Yeah, I thought it might mix like
Yeah, me
50-50 or
too.
something. Nah, I said fuck it, it's betting it. I like it. What's anything surprising here? And you know what? These are the portions of the King X you want to take that check line with a little bit more. The rest of them wanting to not put itself in that weird indifferent spot, right? Get out
Yeah.
of here. And I think a lot of these bets with our value hands and stuff like that, and hands that have equity, the 9-10s, the straight draws, the straight draws. When we check, we don't want to be in that awkward spot, right?
Yeah.
You check here with King 10 and he goes 83. He has King Queen and King Jack in his range. So now you're
Yeah.
on the ropes, right?
Yeah, and I feel like we're just stuck calling
And
and
then you could be pretend then it's high variance. and you're in that no man's land where sometimes you're going to be right and they're bluffing, and sometimes you've just stacked off. But if you go
Yep.
bet small, how many people are going to bluff you for real? None?
Yeah, very
Maybe
few. Very
bet
few.
bet check. I think when you
Bet
double, you're
bet
gonna
check. Yeah.
fuck with you
Oh,
less
did I
than
kick
one.
check? What did I do for us? I bet 55. So we
What
went
was
55. We did go 55 because there's 24 out there.
Yeah, I think I like a check here. We let him bluff with his queen tens, his spades. And like I don't think he's calling three streets with like a jack here, so I mean I think it's just
Okay, so now when we check river and he jams, what are you doing?
calling him.
Check call.
Yeah.
Molten, you check calling. This feels too thin to go for three, he
Yeah, I
says.
mean, this is a very easy call if he jumps. Like, this
Yeah.
is top of check range. I'm not even scared if he jumps because
Yeah, I'm
I'm like,
snapping.
I'm even
Snap call.
debating
a
jamming
little
this full
shitty if he
value,
jams
but I
because
think
you have
that's
a
just too
10.
thin. So,
That's the problem. Having a 10 kind of sucks if he jams.
oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Blunder.
Yeah. Slightly too thin to jam, but
And I think it's that weird spot. I just hope he jams now that we've checked. We'll investigate this range after we get jammed on, please. Oh, you son of a.
Ah,
I was hoping. Damn, we missed a value there too.
yeah.
Um, any small bet size. What is this? Oh, so we do got some. Personally, not gonna lie. I would have blundered here and went 34. I thought this was the 34 spot. 58 makes sense as well. 58's for your top pair. Damn, I'm kind of pissed. Everything else is jamming. 1, 2, 3 kid with the ace 10. You got a 1, 2, 3, the ace 10, the queen 10. Shrug 1, 2, 3. You don't just give up with the queen 10. I know you really want to. You give up with queen 10 with the spade a little bit, but even then you can jam it. Giving up, these have some showdown with the 2 or a 3. Ace queen is dead. And then everything else, if you have a jack, is showdown. So you just kind of go crazy here, guys. Lower pairs, give up.
I was just betting like every king too.
Yeah.
Three streets for any king.
So nasty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just if you got two pair of king queen, shrug, fuck it, right? I mean, that's kind of boss. All right, last one.
Um, we check here. I don't think we're betting a ton.
What did we see about pair? Were you here at the beginning? Paired boards.
Yeah, I was not fully here, but kind of. The pair boards were good for us, but I think they stopped being good higher, right?
Good. I like the observation. And that's
Like if it
true.
was if
That
it
is
was if
true.
it was a 10 a paired 10 high board, then
Yep.
we got the
10
bet a lot. But
9, 10 9. Jack even was reasonable.
Yep.
So good stuff. Do you think you can mix here with this ace high, or do you think it wants to use more of its king X, jack X, 10X as C bets more than its ace highs?
yeah, I think we could bet this. It does like we do want to bet it at some point because typically with these smaller aces, we want to fold out like a little bit higher aces. And we have a backdoor flush draw, so I could see mixing between check and bet 20.
Okay. Going small, but checking. And when you do bet, the
Oh, you can bet anything.
55 bombs. You can bet anything, right? For about the same EV. And it doesn't like 20 because we just if it literally folds out nothing,
Hmm.
right? Like he just meets MDF with his entire range shows up on the turn, I guess is the thing here.
Yeah.
Remember this
Well,
is
he has to over
SPR.
defend MDF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally just probably has to call anything. But people don't, which is good. Everything. Yeah, you're betting a lot. I was asking about whoops, piss. I was asking him more about this region, right? The king jacks, the king tens, the queen tens, the jack tens on this board. When you do on the queen high board, I tend to try to find a C bet there
Yeah.
a lot more. than I do my ace highs. But even the ace highs, I'm not c-betting enough. So this is good to see. Ace four of clubs, nope. But the rest of these, yeah, you can mix, man. It's pretty good. And this, thinking about the implications of when we c-bet, what that does for the hand, right? All right, so we've checked, and he's
Also
quartered here.
interesting that we're betting a lot, but we're betting with things that can pick up equity on the turn. Like the ace four of clubs was pure check, right? But this one can pick up
Right.
flush draw.
You could pick up equity. And then what does that tell you as a heuristic? Like generally, if you're betting with something that does pick up that can pick up equity,
Bluff with a safety net.
when you pick up the equity, what do you think it's going to want to do?
Bluff it.
Bet.
Yeah,
Because now
bet it.
you still have an uncapped range, which it's betting the strong portion, and you've picked up equity for your bluff. So it's important. So now, what do you want to do here, Michael? You want to call? You want to check raise, or
Uh,
I'm not letting you fold?
check raise is a little enticing, but I think I'm just gonna call.
Okay, yeah, yeah, a little bit enticing. And then I was thinking of if I can't. I mean,
I
with
don't
the
think I
seven
want
here, it's not like you can turn a backdoor straight draw with any of the ace X. So I was like,
Yeah,
probably not mixing any of those. Maybe if this
yeah,
is like
probably. Yeah,
a three, right? Queen, queen, three.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I get it. But I mean, it's kind of cool that you can still mix it here as well.
yeah. I think
Anything.
we just check again.
Any leading with any of your range ever here.
Uh,
No
I don't think
leads.
so. No.
All right, I'm just testing the water. Sometimes you'll say, yeah, I would lead here.
No, not this board.
Not this board, not this turn. It does nothing. That's an old Luis move. If you go to his study groups, he'll just bait people into bad moves.
Yeah,
Turning your hand into a bluff, does this have showdown? Do you want to try to fold out better ace high? Can you do anything here?
yeah. Like part of me says that there's like some incentive to bet to fold out like a higher ace, but I think like I'm just not finding that. I'll just check it and try to win at showdown.
Yeah, it's hard to turn ace high into a bluff to try to fold out another ace high. It's just kind of weird when he checks back the turn because he feels capped to shit.
Yeah,
Do we
and
ever
we
get
want to
to go
attack him when
one?
he's capped. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like is he ever checking it back a queen at this SPR on
no,
turn? No.
probably not
Like
even a seven.
it is interesting, and I don't know if I go down to a rabbit hole in my mind sometimes and say, yeah, I have ace high, but what is this really beating? Is he really going to check back a king 10, king
No.
jack here ever? Is this good
Yeah,
enough to bluff catch? Should I be bluff catching this when he does bet? So those kind of thoughts arise in my mind. Is this the spot where we ever go one or something like that? But we are checking, and it makes sense,
oh, it
man.
does want to bet. Wow.
It does make. I mean, it did because it's one of those spots where you can't have the best of it. And we're talking about that earlier. Like
It's like
that's
targeting ace eight or something. Like I don't.
folds out worse ace X. So sometime you might fold out. You mean fold out
Yeah,
better ace X?
yeah. I guess that's what
Fold
we're.
out better ace X.
Is that what
Can
the
I
bet
say
is for?
villain's range after this?
Yes, sir. When
Thanks.
we actually, yeah, we'll take a look at it. Checking is fine, but it actually prefers from an EV perspective, like betting, of course.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like when it bets, like what's the goal? Are we targeting better ace highs to fold, or are
yes,
we trying to get calls from a king high? Like I don't.
yep, yippers. You're trying to get better ace high default.
Just get
Let's
that guy
do
to
the
fold
quick
right there.
study this spot. So let's go back here. So it would prefer us mix in some 61, right? Or is that color? Let's just say you go 61. Gone.
Can you see what
Indifference.
we do with 35 as well?
Yep.
Like
So
things.
you can already see here, we're just creating that indifference.
Yeah.
Shook. These hands are shook right now, right? Fucking ace king is folding. if they had in a range, if they've ever flatted it, which nobody does. Here's a 35. Woo!
Yeah, okay. So it is just mixing folds, and that's why we that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're mixing folds with better. That's really good. Ace King is shook. So it's good. I think some opponents are just so sticky they would never
I
they
don't
would
think I
just
would ever like.
you're not gonna have Ace King here, brother. I know
No,
this shit.
no.
No shot. I don't know anybody that has Ace King as a flat too often at 40. But anytime I imagine 40% from here on out, 40 big blinds, it's generally 50% of the field. You're generally not registering a tournament with 40 big blinds at the beginning where it's chip EV. When you get down to 40 bigs, it's probably 50% of the field.
So we start to get a little bit of ICM pressure.
Correct. I would imagine we study chip EV ranges, but and your opponents are probably not adjusting enough as well. You guys don't have to worry about it in the stakes you're playing too much unless you're playing like the 1Ks 500s, where I think there could be people that understand how to condense their ranges when they get deep. So learning chip EV is not going to be bad for you. And just knowing these heuristics are going to be really good for you as well. But I do feel like I have to start wrapping it up. I gotta be somewhere in half an hour, but wanted to leave it open for any final thoughts, questions, anything like that. I know I missed last week. The week before we had my friend Eugene come in and host a study group. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But yeah, did you guys have anything you wanted to part ways with? Nope. Cool. Next week, I'm gonna find something. Let me know what you guys want to work on. I'm like really thinking about like blind versus blind, like the real complex type spots. I want to get more multi-way stuff, but that's really hard work when we're working on another project. But we're gonna find the stuff we could easily get into and run down our fundamentals. So if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. I'm gonna be out of town for a few days if you guys don't see me on the streets anywhere. So yeah, I'll be out. I like hand reviews with ICM spots because they're the hardest to study on my own. That's a great idea. So hand history review where we're deep in the tournament. We've done hand history review, but maybe just look at meat potatoes when we're in the money or money bubbles, right? That could be a fun little session. I like the idea, Mountie. Have fun in Florida. Thanks, man. I'm gonna be kicking it with Skate. I'll make sure to take a picture with my man Skate and drop it in the Discord when we get together out there. But yep. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thank you guys for coming to the study group. Make sure to spread the word. I want to keep trying to grow it. And I'll be streaming a little bit tonight. I don't think I can go late, so maybe no delay or something. But I'm out. Take
She
care.
gone.
He gone.
She gone.
She gone.
All right, guys.
Peace.
Later.